Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 23rd of August and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this video we shall be discussing entire analysis of Hindu. We'll take all articles along with the background and way forward, and I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, let's start first of all with overview, and this overview is intended to just convey an art that how you need to skim through the newspapers, which type of articles are important for us, so that you should know that. Now here we have first page of Hindu. First article is BRICS is a platform for global south, says Modi. So BRICS summit is going to start from today in South Africa, and for that Prime Minister has visited South Africa. We'll briefly take up this article in our detailed discussion also. Then here we have an article, Chandrayaan 3 lander all set for touchdown today. So basically today is 23rd of August, and today around 4 p.m. Around 4 p.m. The Chandrayaan 3 will land on moon. So the article is just talking about that particular thing. It has just given a timeline that okay, on July 14 mission was launched, orbit raising maneuvers happened on 15 to 25. Now understand one particular thing, you are not required to track everyday development with respect to Chandrayaan 3. Important findings that Chandrayaan 3 will relay once it will land on moon, that you need to see. Everyday details on which date it reached where, that is not very much important for exam. Then further moving on, after that Manipur assembly to convene on August 29. No need to follow this particular thing also. Then we have these advertisements, etc. Inflation pressures may linger but food prices will ease. So guys, we have seen that recently inflation has been a big concern, 15-month high inflation. Then moving on, city section. So we have regional law and order related issues here, and these advertisements, tenders, all such kind of things. Fine, we don't have much relevant articles here, just these tenders, regional issues, etc. They have been given. NASA ESA to support ISRO during moon landing today. I will take this particular dimension in the article. Then further moving on, we reach to editorial section. Now in editorial section, side article, festering wounds. It talks about that still violence is going on in Manipur, and up till now law and order situation is not congenial in Manipur. So that thing needs to be ensured, that enforcement agencies ensure peace in Manipur. Much important substance is not there in this article from the point of view of the exam that is concerned. Then a strong case to restore section 8(4) of RPA Act. Will take this particular article in detail. Then after that, here we have article easing credit flow. This article talks about recent Reserve Bank of India's initiative, that is public tech platform for frictionless credit. We'll take this article. I think yesterday or day before yesterday also this came in newspaper, so we'll take it again. Then here we have this article, no bulwark for Pakistan's minorities. So basically guys, we have seen this particular thing, that again and again minorities living in Pakistan, against them attacks have been carried. Recently on a church also an attack was carried, and also we have seen this particular thing, that there are many of our organizations which are claiming, there are many of the organizations which are also instrumental in promoting atrocities against minorities. Article is talking about that there is no structural or there is no legislative framework to protect minorities in Pakistan. Again, article doesn't contain much of substance for our exam. Okay, so I have read this entire article, but that academic substance relevant for our GS papers is not there, so I'll not suggest you to go too much in detail here. Then moving on, next page. Okay, so this page today is entirely devoted to Chandrayaan 3. Now understand few things very carefully. What this entire page provides, so 19 minutes of suspense. So basically guys, today Chandrayaan 3 has to make a soft landing on moon. Now Chandrayaan 2 in 2019 was not a complete success. Why? Because during the landing it was not able to make a soft landing, it made a hard landing, and because of that rover did not deployed and it was not able to achieve what was intended. Now so this particular landing is going to be a crucial aspect. Now article provides, the first step is that this particular lander will start a descent from altitude of 25 kilometers. So when it will be 25 kilometer above moon surface, it will start to descend. Now understand this particular thing, that when it is going to descend down, what will happen? There will be, there are four main engines which will cut 80% of that speed. So as it will fall down with a lot of speed, so there will be thruster engines that will act a counter force and will reduce that particular speed. Okay, and it will be coming down at the rate of 61 meter per second. Okay, and by this it will be making a soft landing. So basically here step by step it has been provided that what course correction will happen, what speed will be attained at what particular height, and all such kind of things are given. Again, are you required to track these every step? No. For examination you are not required to go and track every step, okay, that what speed will be there at what kilometer, etc., because questions on such kind of lines are not asked. Okay, however, just you can read these particular things if you want. Okay, moving on, here there are some important facts that have been given. For example, we can see this thing that historically 40% of moon missions they have failed, and just 2 days back Luna 25 of Russia, it has also failed. So 40% of moon missions have failed. When we talk about robotic lander mission at the Chandrayaan 3, it has a robotic lander mission. Okay, so it will perform a controlled landing on the lunar surface. Here failure rate is 60%. Here failure rate is 60%, and Chandrayaan 2 in 2019 also failed while landing. Then after that, basically sample return mission. Now, what are the sample return missions? Sample return missions are the one which will send some specimen from moon to earth back. They will send some rock samples, etc. So it collects sample from moon and bring them back to earth. Here failure rate is 67%. Okay. Then on the other hand, orbiters have been relatively more successful. Okay, and their failure rate is 36.7%. So this is a very tough mission, but still not more tough than UPSC, because in UPSC failure rate is even more than that. So 99%, more than 99% if you see number of people who apply and clear, but I'm sure that you are going to clear, you will come in that 0.1 or 0.2%. Okay, so very difficult, but not difficult than UPSC. Anyhow, moving on. So my idea here is that, guys, you are not really required to track this step-by-step development. Okay, moving on, moving on. But however, if you want, you can read this particular article. Then moving on further in this particular capacity, we have text and context, understanding failure of Luna 25. We'll take briefly this article also. Then after that, we have next on protecting biodiversity of Northeast. We'll take this particular article also. Then text and context, next page, toxic femininity. So what is toxic femininity? What is this concept of toxic femininity? We'll take this article also for our examination. Then further moving on, after that, rules will be made to curb vulgar language on social media, government. So today we see that people are using indecent vulgar language on social media. So on that particular thing, some control has to be brought, because even children are using social media. Then after that, moving on, Rahul's Yatra in Ladakh is a follow-up to Bharat Jodo. Nothing much important is given. Here we have an article, causing flood is a terrorist offence in law proposed to replace the IPC. So Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita bill that has been placed in parliament, it talks about it talks about terrorism and flooding, causing flooding as a terrorist activity. We'll take this article. Then further moving on, after that, Congress promises caste census in Madhya Pradesh, 5 guarantees. Nothing important for our examination. Talking about Congress manifesto in Madhya Pradesh election. Festival of Chennai, Stalin releases 3 publications from Hindu. Again, nothing much important for exam has been given. Goyal urges onion growers not to go for panic sale. Here we have an article, Bharat NCAP, India to get its own car testing program. We'll take this particular article. Then after that, coming to world page, Thai Parliament elects Shreta Thavisin as Prime Minister. Japan to release water from Fukushima nuclear plant. Trump to surrender to face Georgia charges. Again, guys, I have told you this earlier also many number of times, and now again I'm telling this, that when world page international page is concerned, every article, every statement, every development is not important. Those particular articles are important which are either containing some substance related to India's foreign policy or India's international interest or some affair in which India's interest is there. That kind of thing we need to take up. Then moving on in this direction, we come to business page. Adani Enterprises climb 2%, nothing much important, corporate trends, etc. They have largely been given here. Okay, and then we have sports page. Guys, again understand one particular thing that okay, coming to last, here we have one science page also. Now as we talk about the science page that comes here, actually I have seen that very few articles are actually there which are actually relevant for our examination, on whose lines questions can be asked. I told you this many number of times that core science research papers you don't need to read. Core nitty-gritties of physics, chemistry, biology you don't need to read. Okay, there are sometimes profile of some of the doctors, scientists, etc. that is given, that is not to be read. Now today when we talk about the article, how the deadliest virus in human history paved the way for new cures. So this article is talking about the H1N1 history. So it is talking about the great influenza epidemic of 1918 which caused H1N1. So basically here it was providing that it is giving that okay, how that particular thing was dealt, contribution of different researchers, doctors, etc. that has given. Again guys, I have read this article. So it is talking about how gene isolation was done in H1N1 in 1918, what happened, how the strains were extracted and all such things. Doesn't contain the substance for our examination. Okay, so when important article or the type of article which is relevant for our exam, it will come, will obviously be taking it up, but every article, no need to follow that. And here we end, this is the end of newspaper. Now let's discuss all relevant articles one by one in detail. I hope guys that you have understood it. Now, taking up detailed discussion. So this is synoptic notes. You can download it from our Telegram channel. It contains summary of all important articles. In every class, we take one GS quotation which can be used in your GS questions or in essay. So today we'll take quotation from Phil Harding. So Phil Harding says, without environmental sustainability, economic stability and social cohesion cannot be achieved. Now you see this particular thing. Today we get a new class of refugees, environmental refugees. Many people, they have to leave their lands, many people have to leave their homes because their place there they were living, either that place got flooded or there is a drought that came or landslide that happened. Why these landslides, drought, floods, they have become more extreme? It is because of the lack of environmental stability. It is because of climate change that is happening. Now, when the people have to abandon their land, when they have to go, what will happen? These people will become frustrated. These people will develop frustrations. And in such a kind of a society, social cohesion cannot happen. And when we are again and again facing these landslides, flood, for example, recently in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, so much of disastrous environmental events have happened. It has devastated the economy of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. So how economic stability will come? Even economic stability cannot come. So without environmental sustainability, without climate conscious development, without green development, economic stability will not come. It will compromise. The social cohesion cannot be achieved. So environment sustainability, climate conscious growth, green recovery, it is needed for both these things. So you can use this particular idea in essay as well as across GS 1, 2, 3, idea can be used. Moving on in this particular direction, guys. So today from 7:30 p.m. we are also starting our ethics batch. So I am eagerly looking forward to the batch. Then starting up, taking first article for today. So first article that we are taking is from text and context section, and article talks about toxic femininity, the many diverse interpretation of concept. This particular article will take for GS paper number 1 as well as GS paper number 2. social issues, social justice, issues related to women. Issues related to women, we are going to take this particular article. Now, let's first of all understand some basic concept, and after understanding this basic concept, we'll go in this article's detail. Now, basically, guys, you might have heard two words. I discussed it earlier also, but let's revise it again. You might have heard two words. One is women, and one is female. One is female, and their counterparts, man and male. What is the difference between these words? When you use the word women, you are talking about a sociological construct. You are talking about a social identity. When you are using the word female, you are talking about a biological identity. Now, understand this thing. Biologically, men are different from the, biologically male are different from the female. So when we just focus on that biological difference, we use the word sex. We use word sex. And when we talk about sex, we get female and we get male. But difference is not only biological, difference is also social. For example, apart from biological difference, society has given different gender role. Men have been given different gender role. Women, they have been given different gender role. Their status, their position in society is different. Okay, so when we talk about that social division, gender role, we get the concept of gender. And when we talk about gender, we get women and men as two different genders. Now, men, they have been given a particular type of personality, and women have been given a different type of personality. So basically, when we talk about women, the moment you are born as a female, you are a woman, you are expected that you need to have a particular type of a personality, and that is feminine personality. That is feminine personality or femininity. Femininity. Okay. And man, they also are expected to have a particular type of a personality, that is masculine personality. That is masculine personality or masculinity. So if a child has been born and that child is male, he has to be like man, has to have a masculine personality. What is a masculine personality? Masculine personality, society perceives that they have to be more logical, they have to be more rational, they need not to be very much emotionally volatile. Society expects that. So male like personality, female like personality. Now, the article is using the word toxic femininity. Toxic femininity means toxic side of female personality, toxic side of feminine personality. So what is this toxic femininity? We are going to explore in this particular article. Okay, and if you have a sociology optional, then this article is even more important for you. Let's discuss this particular concept of toxic femininity. First of all, first of all, First of all, before understanding toxic femininity, we will understand one more concept, that is toxic masculinity. Because first toxic masculinity got evolved, and after toxic masculinity, now this word toxic femininity has become popular. So what is toxic masculinity? The word or the concept of toxic masculinity was popularized by American psychology professor Shepard Bliss. He provide toxic masculinity is authoritarian masculinity. He provided this particular thing, that when we see relation between a father and a son, relation between a father and son is a different kind of a relation in which father and son, they don't share a lot of bonding. There is a lot of they don't share a lot of bonding. They don't often connect with each other on emotions. They stay aloof with each other, don't talk with each other that much. So the relation between father and son is characterized by emotional distance. Often the relation is violent, where a father will try to discipline son, and as father has to discipline son, he will be giving him punishment, he will be beating him up, reprimanding him up. So relation is characterized as violent. Now it is provided that son they have often had this particular relation with the father, and they internalized these particular type of values, this particular type of a character, and when they grow, they develop this particular they develop these values, and their relation with women is characterized by such kind of a thing. So what is toxic masculinity? Toxic masculinity is a particular type of personality in male where they will be indifference to female. They will be often authoritarian when female are concerned. They will try to dominate over the female. So toxic masculinity is a negative aspect, negative side of personality, where man, they will assert their power, dominance over the women. Often a misogynistic attitude will be developed towards women. What is misogynistic? Misogynistic means attitude based on hate and prejudice against women. Two concepts, guys, you need to keep in your mind. Shepherd Bliss, he explains that why this masculinity evolved in male. It got evolved because their relation with their father was not very much emotionally congenial. And what is this manifestation of toxic masculinity? When these male, they grow up, they start to dominate female, they start to impose authority over female, they start to control the behavior of female. This is toxic masculinity. Okay, now when we talk about toxic masculinity, this toxic masculinity also get manifest in form of violence against women. It manifest in form of dominance over women. Often there will be emotional illiteracy. Male, they will take pride in saying this thing that we are not that much emotional. Okay, neither they'll express joy very openly, nor they'll express sadness, remorse very openly. So a kind of an emotional illiteracy will develop. Neither they'll project their emotions, nor they will connect will be able to connect with other people's emotion. Sexual entitlement, because of their sex, that they are male, they are entitled, they can do whatever they want, and that thing is justified. Why? Because just they are male. Okay, hostility to femininity, hostility to femininity, feminine personality. Fine, let's say if there is a man and that man has little bit of a feminine type of personality, there will be hostility towards any femininity. Femininity will be seen as inferior. This all are elements of toxic masculinity. So many male you might have seen who take pride in their masculine personality. That pride and that excessive domination over female is toxic masculinity. So meaning of toxic masculinity has been consistent over period over a long over so many years. Now the concept of toxic femininity is emergent. When we talk about toxic femininity has many different meanings. There is no one meaning. So toxic masculinity, we have one meaning, but femininity has multiple meanings. Now, one according to article, first, toxic femininity. What is toxic femininity? Now, by the way, word toxic femininity became very popular after Me Too movement of 2016. What is this Me Too movement? In Me Too movement, many women came on internet and they narrated their stories when they were harassed or when they were sexually assaulted by powerful men. So this was the Me Too movement. A Me Too trend was popular on internet in 2016, and after this, word toxic femininity has become popular. So according to one explanation, one interpretation of toxic femininity, it means toxic femininity stands for those women who conform of stereotype of being quiet, submissive, and accepting of male domination. Now, see, every woman will not resist patriarchy. Every woman will not repel domination by men. Many women will accept. They will say that yes, we are born so that we should be dominated by men. Many women will accept that. So acceptance by women vis-a-vis their domination by male, that is also called as toxic femininity. So these women will silently be accepting men's aggression, and they think that if we have to survive, we have to accept men's aggression. If we have to survive, we have to accept men's domination. So this is toxic femininity. And they say that women who are accepting a patriarchy, women who are expecting authority of male over them, indirectly they are also teaching this particular value to their daughters. And by this particular thing, they are indirectly promoting toxic masculinity. Now you see this particular thing. If a person has a particular type of a belief, particular type of a viewpoint, you need to challenge that belief or viewpoint. If you never challenge that belief or viewpoint, his belief or viewpoint will ever get more and more strong. So people who have toxic masculinity, if they will never receive any backlash, if they will never receive any challenge from female, they will think that this is the way nature works. So by this way, what is happening, these women, they are passing these stereotypical gender roles to next generation, to their daughters, and also by this particular thing, this toxic femininity enables a toxic masculinity. So this is one dimension of toxic femininity. Then there is also one more meaning of toxic femininity. What is toxic femininity? So basically, it has been said that toxic femininity. Now this is second. Okay, we discussed that was one interpretation of toxic femininity. This is second interpretation of toxic femininity. Now see this thing. Many women, they often play a victim card. Many women often they say this particular thing. It is provided that toxic femininity, it is actually used as a tool by women to gain power within patriarchal structure. Women, they project themselves as victims. They project themselves as victims, that we are always the suppressed one, we are always the oppressed one. They play that, they portray themselves as to be victims. Why? Because this is way that they can get sympathy, and this is way that by appearing weak, by appearing powerful, by appearing powerless, by appearing weak and powerless, they can get a sympathy, and it is only way for them to survive. So this is also toxic femininity. uh, Guys, one more thing, please don't curse me that sir you are such a unprogressive person. No, these all views are the views of article, not my view. Okay. Then there is one more way to see toxic femininity. It is, toxic femininity is seen as an attitude in women where they will be hating men. Okay, they will say men are not good. So man hating attitude of women, that is also called as toxic femininity. Now, why this toxic femininity has come now, why it has become so popular nowadays? The concept is not new, concept is old. So recently this movie Barbie was released, and in this movie Barbie is challenging the patriarchal structure. And while it was challenging patriarchy, obviously patriarchy cannot be supported, but in a way, many critics have said that while challenging patriarchy, it has highlighted toxic femininity. Now, obviously, this is a view. Some people might agree with it, some people might not agree with it. And understand, when we talk about the society, social issues, they are based on opinions, and no one opinion is correct. Different multiple opinions can be there. Okay, there is no chance that okay, this is 100% true opinion. Fine. So this is about the toxic femininity. Okay, guys, I hope that you have understood it. Now, article is talking about one very beautiful dimension also, and the dimension is that, let's see, we have divided femininity in two types. One is toxic femininity and one is ideal femininity. Okay, you are dividing femininity in two types, toxic femininity, ideal femininity. In a way, what you are doing, you are promoting gender division, you are promoting gender binary. Okay, now what equality is all about? Equality is that we should not divide society, people on basis of their gender. That is about equality. So by dividing even femininity as toxic femininity and ideal femininity, you are creating gender division, you are creating gender binary. What about LGBT people who don't identify strictly in one type of gender? Okay, what about equality? So these are all dimensions that come out of this particular discussion. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. And now we'll move to next article. On protecting the biodiversity of Northeast. We'll take this particular article for GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3, and one practical way forward has been provided in this article that can be used as your case study in GS paper number 3 answers. So GS paper number 3, environment and conservation. We are going to use this particular article. Now, first of all, let me give you context that why this article about Northeast has come in news. Because recently Meghalaya High Court was hearing a petition regarding degradation of a lake in Meghalaya, about the degradation of a lake in Meghalaya, that is Umiam Lake. Umiam Lake. Now, just one thing you need to first of all take up from here. In prelims examination, many number of times articles, the questions based on mapping entries, they come. For example, there can be a question that recently Umiam Lake was in news. Now, they will not ask you in which district it lies or near which village it lies. They will ask you a broad question that recently Umiam Lake was in news. It is in which state? Is it in Meghalaya? It is in Kerala? It is in West Bengal? It is in Uttar Pradesh? So, correct answer is Meghalaya. Now, what actually happened? So basically, Meghalaya High Court was hearing a petition that a lot of environmental degradation has happened around this Umiam Lake because lot of concrete, lot of developmental projects have emerged here, and they are not taking care of environmental laws, they are not taking care of environmental safeguards. So this particular issue was going on. Now, uh, let's talk on this particular issue. So basically, when we talk about states, states have to generate revenue, and that revenue they will use in development, they will use in improving the life quality of their own people. So, and one important way of generating revenue is through tourism. And when we talk about Northeast has been blessed by nature. It has lush green topography. It has so much of biodiversity that Northeast can capitalize on tourism, and by tourism they can bring their own economic development. But point is that when state is promoting tourism, sometimes this tourism becomes unsustainable. Sometimes these tourists, when they are coming, they are not treating environment in a conscious manner. So often what happen, it also leads to environmental cost, environmental degradation. Moreover, when you are developing tourism potential, you have to develop resorts, you have to develop hotels, you have to develop markets. Often this development that will happen, it will also come at the cost of environment. And we have seen that due to too much of development, we have seen that the Joshi Mutt was sinking, and so much of degradation has happened in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. The same thing can happen in Northeast also if they focus too much on leveraging environmental tourism. And recently Meghalaya High Court also was listening the case on cleanliness of Umiam Lake. And Meghalaya High Court very clearly provided that laws are actually not addressing all dimensions of environmental degradation. For example, there is Meghalaya Water Bodies Guideline, and it has not given attention to aspect of building and construction that is going on around water bodies. Now, when we talk about Meghalaya's Garo, Khasi, Jaintia Hills, Brahmaputra Valley, these are regions which have a lot of biodiversity, and at same times there is a lot of degradation, deforestation that is going on, because river courses are being tempered. It is leading to flooding issue. Okay, existing industries, they are causing serious damage to flora fauna of Northeast. See, Northeast, all Northeast largely is is industrially backward. There are very few industries, but even these industries are leading to environmental degradation. Now, it has been provided that, see, you might be knowing that there are many environmental laws that we have in India. For example, there is Forest Act, there is Environmental Protection Act, there is Water Act, there is Air Act. Many environmental laws we have in India, and these laws developed during 1980s. But many of these laws are also ineffective for Northeast. Why? Because of constitutional design. Now, guys, you might have already heard about the fifth schedule and sixth schedule of Indian Constitution. Particularly, sixth schedule give the states that are mentioned in sixth schedule, they have a lot of autonomy. And areas which are under sixth schedule, they can create district councils. And these district councils have a lot of autonomy. They will decide which law will be applicable or which law will not be applicable, or if law will be applicable, how that law will be applicable. All a lot of power is there with the district council, which are constituted under sixth schedule. And because of this particular thing, what happened, these district councils, they don't place much of regulation for preservation of land, for preservation of environment. So because of this sixth schedule autonomy, they bypass environmental law. Now, In over the years, by using Article 32 and 226, many petitions have been filed. Article 32 and 226 gives a constitutional remedy. For example, Article 21 talks about right to life. When we talk about right to life, within right to life, right to clean air, right to clean environment is provided. And if environmental degradation is going on, obviously clean air will not be there, clean water cannot be there. So I can approach, for example, Supreme Court under Article 32. I can approach High Court under Article 226, and I will approach the Supreme Court or High Court and will request that please stop this degradation, because as environmental is getting degraded, my Article 21 is getting impacted. So by using Article 32 to 26, many environmental activists, citizens, they have reached the judiciary and had tried the enforcement of environmental laws. But sometimes they have been successful, sometimes they have not been much successful. Now, article is talking about a very practical kind of a way forward that can be used while dealing with these particular kind of issues. What it is talking about? It is talking about Northeast Industrial Development Scheme 2017. It is talking about Northeast Industrial Development Scheme 2017. Now, what is this Northeast Industrial Development Scheme? Under this particular scheme, industries who come in Northeast, they will be given special incentives, because Northeast is industrially backward region. So if you open your industry there, you will be given incentive. But here we can now put a condition that if you are not complying with the environmental standards, if you are not protecting the environment, you are just focusing on industry and not complying with the environment, you will not be given any incentive. These industries will put in a negative list. Negative list means they will not be given any incentive. So by this particular way, we can nudge these industries that while they are taking up their developmental activity, they have to be sensitive and responsible. Okay, they have to ensure environmental sustainability. So this is something that can be proposed. Okay, as a case study, you can add it in your answers. That is about it. And now moving to next article. Understanding the failure of Luna 25. Okay, so now you might have followed newspapers. Even I think yesterday we have discussed it, that Luna 25, this was a mission from Russia. It has got failed. Okay, so number one thing, you are not required to go too much in detail in that. Okay, but some basic details you need to see for exam that we are going to take. We'll take it with respect to GS paper number 2, International Affairs. Science and Technology also we will take this article, GS3 and GS2. So we'll take it for GS3 and GS2. Now, so basically, what is this Luna 25? So basically, as we have Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO in India, in same way in Russia, they have their own space agency, and Russian space agency is called as Roscosmos. Roscosmos recently attempted a mission for moon, and that project that they sent on moon, the mission that they sent on moon, it was called as Luna 25. Now, understand this particular thing. Last mission that was sent by Russia on moon was in 1976. So 1976, you know, Russia was a part of USSR. So this was their last mission on moon, and since then they had not sent any mission on moon. So therefore, it was so many decades that have happened. So Russia now attempted this Luna 25. This Luna 25 was launched on Soyuz 2 rocket. Soyuz 2 rocket. And this Luna 25 was just expected to land on moon around when Chandrayaan 3 was have to land on moon. But what happened on August 20? What happened on August 20? Russia informed that they have lost their contact from Luna 25. Actually, what happened when Luna 25 was landing? So we've discussed the soft and hard landing in the start. So Luna 25 was expected to make a soft landing, but it actually there was a technical glitch that came, and in place of soft landing, it made a hard landing, and since then it has lost the contact. So now Luna 25 is dead. Luna 25 is dead. Now, few angles just I want to tell you that as this Luna 25 was expected to land, it was also landing on the polar region of moon, or the dark side of moon. Dark side of moon is that part of moon which is never visible from the side of from the earth, and it is on the darker side, that is the opposite side of sun. So it was expected to land on dark side or polar side of moon. Chandrayaan 3 is also landing on that same place. There are also the news that came. Number one news was this, that Luna 25 was in race with Chandrayaan 3. It wanted to land before Chandrayaan 3. And one more thing that was coming here is that there might be possibility that as both are landing in the same place, there might be a kind of a conflict that might come between Luna 25 and Chandrayaan 3. There were many such kind of media reports and media speculations that were there. However, the article provides this particular thing that, see, Roscosmos, that is Russian Space Agency, and ISRO, they both have collaborated under many projects. For example, Roscosmos is also helping to train Indian astronauts who will be sent on Gaganyaan. So ISRO and Roscosmos have a congenial history. They have coordinated and cooperated with each other. So there was no kind of a race that was going on. Okay, so this mission has now ended. Now, understand two things. As of now, according to Russia, there was a technical glitch that came. They have not given much of information that how actually they said that there was an orbital failure, but beyond that, they have not given much information. But there are many conspiracy theories, many alternative theories that are there on internet. You are not required to go on that particular thing. Now, when we talk about Luna 25, fine, was under development for more than 2 decades. For more than 20 years, Russia was planning for this Luna 25, and now it had got failed. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that as we talk about the world presently, there are two type of opposing camps that have developed. Now see, this polarization is not only on geostrategic front, it is also onto the outer space front. For example, on one hand, there is Russia and China, and Russia and China are cooperating under International Lunar Research Station. They are cooperating under International Lunar Research Station. On opposite hand, there is USA. USA is leading the Artemis Accord. So under Artemis Accord, USA and other countries, they are trying to explore moon. Let me give you some more information about Artemis Accord also. Okay, so what is Artemis Accord? So when we talk about Artemis Accord, right. So Artemis Accord, it is established by US, that is US State Department as well as NASA. And under Artemis Accord, which are countries that are involved? So under Artemis Accord, there is USA, Australia, Canada, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg, UAE, and UK. All these countries are member of Artemis Accord. This Artemis Accord was established in 2020, and objective of this Artemis Accord is to set common principles to govern civil exploration, and they also will be collaborating for exploration of outer space, moon, Mars, comets, and other terrestrial bodies. So Artemis Accord is US led mission for outer space exploration, and in response China and Russia are also collaborating. Fine. And just a minute, where they are collaborating? So Russia and China, they are collaborating under the International Lunar Research Station. Now see this particular thing, a question also comes that why Russia undertook this mission right now. So it is also because that it is being said that what happened, Russia has not demonstrated their space capabilities in so many of years, number one thing. Number two, also it was said that what actually happened, right now Russia-Ukraine war is going on, and Russia wanted to show to world that still they have fuel left, still they have power left. So because of that, it was demonstrated. Okay, now when we talk about, guys, India and Chandrayaan 3 will not face similar kind of a thing. Why? Because understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about Chandrayaan 3, NASA and European Space Agency, they are helping ISRO to track movement of Chandrayaan 3. Now you see this particular thing. When we talk about Russia and their Luna 25, they did not had this advantage. Now see this particular thing. When we talk about Russia, they could communicate with Luna 25 only when the moon was directly over the Russia. When moon was not over the Russia, they cannot communicate. Why? Because they did not had the satellite access from other countries. Okay, but India will get satellite assistance from NASA, European Space Agency. So when now moon either will be it be over Indian subcontinent, or it will be over Europe, or it will be over USA. So wherever the moon is, India will continuously get the access about the information and the status of Chandrayaan 3. But Russia did not had that particular assistance. So only when moon will be over Russia, during that particular time, during that particular window only, scientists could diagnose what problem is going on in Luna 25, and only in that particular time they have to fix that particular problem. But after that, they did not had any access to Luna 25. So because of that also, it got failed. So that is about it. And now moving to next article. Bharat NCAP, India to get its own car crash testing program from October. We'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3, automobile industry, issues related to automobile industry, as well as with respect to GS paper number 2, social justice, road accidents, road accidents. We'll take this particular article. Now, let me explain you some basic background information first, and then after understanding this background information, we'll go in details. Basically, guys, every year in India, around 1.5 lakh people die in road accident. This data has been taken from Ministry of Road, Transport and Highway, as well as from National Crime Record Bureau data. 1.5 lakh people die in road accidents. There are many reasons for these many deaths. Number one reason is that road standards, infrastructure is not good. Many number of times roads, they have potholes, okay, and all these issues are there. Traffic is lot on Indian roads. Fine, rash driving is a problem. People don't wear seat belts. People don't wear helmet while they are riding. Also, there is a problem that Indian cars, they are often not much safe to drive. Much of Indian cars, they have very poor crash rating, 1 star, 1.5 star, 2 star crash rating. And actually, I will also say that the mindset of people also is responsible for such kind of a thing. People, they don't prefer a safe car. They prefer a car which should have some good gimmicky features. They will prefer cars with gimmicky features, car with better mileage over a safer car. That is also a wrong perception, wrong attitude that people have. People would prefer a good music system rather than airbags. Okay, and if people would have an option that okay, you take out the airbag and you put 2 more speakers, many people would take that. So often the crash ratings of cars, this is not very good. Often safety ratings of car is not very much good. Now when we talk about the crash ratings, there are dedicated agencies which actually crash test a car and give some safety rating to a car, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. And in this particular capacity, we have most popular organization, that is or most popular safety rating program, that is global NCAP, global new car assessment program, global new car assessment program. Now this global new car assessment program is a project by Towards Zero Foundation. It is a UK charity organization which promotes universal adoption of United Nations Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. Okay, so on basis of United Nations Motor Vehicle Safety Standard, it tests a car, it does a car crash testing, and on basis of that testing, it gives some star rating to car. Okay, so this was the standard that was there. India did not had any dedicated standard, but now India has adopted that. We are coming with a dedicated car safety standard that will be called as the Bharat New Car. It will be called as Bharat New Car Assessment Program, and this BNCAP will be based on Global New Car Assessment Program, Global NCAP. Is it clear or not? Now, one thing is that, guys, this standard will be based on Automotive Industry Standard 197. What is this Automotive Industry Standard 197? It lays a condition that, okay, you will do this test. In this test, this way we will measure the child safety, we will measure the adult safety, occupant safety. So this is Automotive Standard 197 on which this Bharat New Car Assessment Program will be based. Now, when we talk about, guys, the Indian cars, they basically they will be given star rating from 1 star to 5 star. 1 star means not a safe car. 5 star means a safe car. Okay, so cars which have good safety, they will be given a 5-star rating. Now, this rating will be based on 3 parameters. Number 1, adult occupant protection. Second, child occupant protection. And third, safety assist technology. Whether the safety assist technology, for example, is there ABS, is there EBD, is there is electronic braking? Okay, so what safety technologies you have? On these 3 parameters, car will be given the star rating. Now, there will be 3 type of tests that will be done. Now, one thing is that you are not required to go too much in detail that on how many kilometer crash will be done. That thing is not needed. 3 type of tests will largely be there. Number 1, frontal offset test. So there can be a head-on collision between 2 cars. One car coming from this side, one car coming from this side, and this head-on collision is there. So basically, frontal offset test will be there. Side impact test is there. Suppose this is your car and your car might get hit from side. So side impact test and pole side impact test. Your car might bang in a pole in a tree. So this pole side impact and frontal offset test will be done. Okay. Now, guys, as of now, this particular test is voluntary, means Maruti or Suzuki. We don't have Maruti now, we have Suzuki. So Suzuki can send their these 2-3 cars. Tata can send their 1 or 2 car. Hyundai can send their few models. So it is a voluntary scheme. Fine, as of now it is a voluntary scheme. However, if government want, government can mandatorily test some of the car model, those car model which are very popular variants. Popular variant. For example, we have some cars from Suzuki such as Swift, Baleno, which are popular cars. They sell in large numbers. Okay. Okay, or the car which is selling 30,000 units or more, they can mandatory make testing. They can make a mandatory testing for that. Okay, but largely this will be a voluntary program. Car companies will send their cars. Okay, so this is something, and by this India might have more safer cars, and by more safe cars, number of road accidents will come down, and fatalities, injuries happening in these accidents might also come down. So this is about this entire issue. Now moving on to next article. Causing flood is a terrorist offense in law proposed to replace IPC, Indian Penal Code. Okay, so we'll see this article with respect to GS paper number 2, governance, law and order. Okay, first of all, few basic informations, let's take that. So guys, recently, I think 5-6 times at least we have seen this particular thing, that now government has proposed 3 bills which will replace Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code and Indian Evidence Act. Okay, these bills were brought in the last day of monsoon session. Now these particular bills have been referred to a select committee. It will give its recommendation, amendments, then it will be brought in parliament. In parliament it will be debated, amendments might come, and then finally the bill will be passed. Till the time final bill is not passed or is not converted in act, I will not advise you to track it too much. Okay, now one of a provision of this Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita has come now in news. First of all, what is Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita bill? Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, this is a bill which will replace the Indian Penal Code, IPC. It will replace IPC. It will replace IPC. And Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita has defined terrorist offense. It has defined as a terrorist offense. Now, when we talk about the terrorist offense, first of all, who is a terrorist? A terrorist is any person who develops, manufactures, possesses, acquires, transports, supplies, or uses weapons, explosives, okay, or releases nuclear, radiological, dangerous substance, or who is causing fire, flooding, or is carrying explosion. Any person doing these activities, one or two or all, is a terrorist. So here you see flooding is also terrorist activity. Flooding is also terrorist activity. First of all, as we talk about terrorism, terrorist activities, India dealt with the terrorism and terrorist activities with a special law, that is UAPA. That is UAPA. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. It was a special law that was focused on terrorist activities. Now, guys, understand two things, that though UAPA had good intentions and it is a very important and instrumental law for India, but many activists, they have criticized UAPA. It has been said that many number of times on flimsy grounds, many people on them, UAPA has been applied. And here, if we take data, then guys, we find this particular thing, that around 4,690 people, they were arrested between 2018 to 2020 under UAP, but only 3% got convicted. Only 3% got convicted. Means 97% people who got arrested under UAPA, they did not got convicted. These people were innocent. So therefore, activists, they have criticized UAPA that it is a draconian law and its validity has also been challenged in Supreme Court. Now, a question that comes here in this particular issue is that terrorist activity, earlier they were dealt under a special law, that is UAPA, but now terrorism and terrorist activity, they have been brought under Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita bill. And many of activists, they say that there might be misuse of these particular provisions that can happen. Okay, now understand this thing, terrorist is the gravest threat that humanity is facing, in words of former Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh. Yes, terrorist is the biggest threat that the India is facing. But at the same time, who a terrorist is, what are the grounds of terrorism, fine, that needs to be defined more clearly according to activists. Now, it has been said that, for example, what happened in 2022? In 2022, there was flooding that happened in Assam, and in which more than 120 people died. And Chief Minister said that it was a man-made flood. It was a man-made flood, and few people from a particular religion, they were arrested. And social media posts saying flood jihad, they become they were trending on social media. Okay, so point is that under the name of such broad grounds, there might be misuse that can happen according to this particular article. So many activists, they have provided this particular thing. Okay, moving on in this particular direction. Okay, so this is all about it. Easing credit flow. Now this particular article, guys, first of all, we have taken this article earlier also. Okay, now okay, so this particular article we have taken earlier also. Now this article is talking about Reserve Bank of India's recent reform to improve the credit ease or credit availability to the people. Okay, guys, if you have some doubt, please ask your doubts, otherwise we'll move in this particular article. Okay, good morning, a very good morning to all of you. Good morning. Sir, I filled Google form for ethics, but no further direction is provided there. How can I enroll? Unnati, please check your spam folder, check your email. You might have received a link for the admission. Okay, please check your spam folder as well as the mail, or you can just fill the Google form again. You will get a link. Okay. Now, before going on in this article, let's take some basic background information. Basically, guys, in India, credit availability or ease of credit actually is a very big problem. And because people often are not able to get formal institutional credit, they have to resort to money lenders, and at very high interest rate, they have to avail credit. That becomes a very big issue. Now, what has happened? Reserve Bank of India, it has provided that they will be coming up with, Reserve Bank of India, it has provided that they will be, coming with public tech platform for frictionless credit. Now, understand one particular thing, guys, that first of all, if a person has to take loan or credit, his credit worthiness has to be checked by bank. For example, I apply to State Bank of India for a loan of 10,000 rupees. State Bank of India has to be sure the state bank has to verify my credit worthiness, that whether can I pay back 10,000 rupees loan, what assets I have which I can pledge to bank as a collateral, that if in case I did not pay 10,000 rupees, bank will sell that my asset. So credit worthiness of a person has to be checked before a loan is given to that particular person. Now, for checking this credit worthiness, a lot of time is now wasted and a lot of effort is wasted. For example, State Bank of India has to verify my asset. Now, for that particular thing, it will ask my documents of land. I will give that land document. It will verify that. It will then ask me that I should give to the bank my bank statement. I will give that bank statement. That will be physically verified. Then there is also one credit score that people are given. Now, what is this credit score? Out of 900, you are given some credit score which is based on your credit history. For example, if you have, for example, you took a loan in past, whether you gave that loan back on time or not, on that particular basis and many other factors also, your credit score is prepared. So that credit score will be taken from some other third agency. So in this particular way, all verification and everything is done, and it takes a lot of time. So basically what Reserve Bank of India is now providing, Reserve Bank of India is creating this platform, and this platform is intended to serve as a one-stop digital clearing house for credit related information. What will happen? There will be this single platform where government, credit agencies, banks, all will come together, and on this single platform in real time the information can be exchanged, so that within minutes your loan can be cleared. Right now it takes many days to weeks to get a loan, because all this verification will take many days of time. But now in real time all this information could be exchanged on a single platform. So this particular single platform is being developed by Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Here there will be seamless flow of all the required digital information from different organizations. For example, governments, credit information company, digital identity authority. Now let me give you example. Suppose I want to take a loan. Okay, now if you have to take a loan, you have to give some collateral, you have to pledge some property. Let's say I have agricultural land. So whether I have agricultural land in my name or not, that data is available with my state government. So bank need to get that data from state government. After that, credit information, let's say credit information will be taken through CIBIL. Then digital identity authority, they also need to have my Aadhaar verification. For that also there is digital identity authority that will come in between. So all these organizations will come on a common platform, and banks can seek information from them in real time, and within 1 minute and within few minutes loan can be cleared. So this is a new platform that it is coming. Reserve Bank of India provides that initially they will be bringing this particular project on pilot basis, experimental basis, and first it will provide Kisan credit card loan up to 1.6 lakh rupees. Then dairy farmer loan, credit sans collateral, means credit without collateral, credit without some property pledging. Such credit to MSME, personal loan, home loan, they will be starting would be given through this platform, and over we will expand that. We will expand that. Okay, this is something. Right now, this particular program has got started in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra. Okay. Now guys, when we talk about India, I told you that accessibility of formal credit is very difficult in India. And according to NABARD, National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD economist, it is said that only 20% of people, 20% of the farmers out of 12.5 crore small and marginal farmer, they have accessibility to institutional credit, bank loan. Otherwise, they are just depending on money lenders who charge very high interest rate. So if we give them credit accessibility, they will be able to invest productively in agriculture. Okay, so this is about it. Now moving on, in next article, a strong case to restore section 8 subclause 4 of Representation of People Act. We'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2. Within GS paper number 2, issues related to Representation of People Act are mentioned. Issues related to Representation of People Act are mentioned directly in your syllabus. So for that we are going to take this particular article. Now first of all guys, let's take some basic information, and after this information we'll go in this article. So this article is just guys actually talking about one concept, but for that first you need to know background. So you might have seen this in news that Mr. Rahul Gandhi got convicted in one of a defamation case. He was held guilty for a defamation, and because of that, his Lok Sabha seat was taken back. However, then he appealed in the Supreme Court and his Lok Sabha seat was restored back. Okay. Now, first of all, let's understand that particular case. So basically, Article 102 of the Indian Constitution, Article 102 of the Indian Constitution defines the ground under which a legislator will be disqualified from his seat. So there are multiple grounds that are given under Article 102. Article 102 also provides this particular thing, that a person will be disqualified from his seat if he is disqualified as per a law made by Parliament. As per a law made by Parliament. Now, for disqualification, Parliament has actually made a law, and that law is Representation of People Act 1951. Representation of People Act 1951. And within the Representation of People Act 1951, there is Section 8. There is Section 8. Now, Section 8 provides this particular thing. Now, there are multiple grounds, but one of a ground in which Rahul Gandhi got convicted, I am talking about that only. So, Section 8 provides this particular thing, that if a person got convicted for a crime for which he is given punishment of 2 years or more. Okay, so if a person got convicted for any crime, and if he has been given punishment of 2 years or more, then that particular person will be disqualified from his seat. Now, what happened? Rahul Gandhi defamation case was filed, and Rahul Gandhi was given the punishment of 2 years. So, on that particular basis, Rahul Gandhi got disqualified under Section 8 of RPA. And as he got disqualified, his seat was taken back. Now, there was one safeguard that was there, that is Section 8 subclause 4. That is Section 8 subclause 4. Now, what Section 8 subclause 4 provided? So, Section 8 subclause 4 provided 3-month period within which appeal can be made. Now, see this particular thing. Section 8 subclause 4 provided that if a person had got convicted for a crime, he is given the 3-month time frame so that he can apply to Supreme Court or High Court. Okay. Now, this Section 8 subclause 4 actually got removed through Lily Thomas versus Union of India case 2013. And now the disqualification happens immediately. Before Lily Thomas case of 2013, immediate disqualification did not happen. A person got convicted, he can appeal, a 3-month time was given, and then the case will go on until the time the case will not be disposed, the person will continue on his seat. So basically, Lily Thomas case provided no immediate disqualification will happen. Intention of Lily Thomas judgment was good, because many number of a time people, notorious criminals who got convicted, they still continue by using Section 8 subclause 4. So for good intention, good purpose, this particular thing actually came, but it got removed, it got struck down. Now the article is saying that we need to bring back again Section 8 subclause 4. We need to bring back again Section 8 subclause 4, because in this case what happened, Rahul Gandhi got disqualified immediately, but then its seat was restored by Supreme Court. So it has provided that many number of times there are many legislators against which the cases are being filed, and session court or a lower level court even convicts them, and then they got disqualified. It might spoil their entire legal, it might spoil their entire political career. So this article is saying that Section 8 subclause 4 needs to be brought back. So this particular dimension is being provided. Now, okay, so it says that the judgment of Lily Thomas can wreak havoc on the legal careers. Then there are some cases of particular, for example, BJP MP Ram Shankar Katheria, his conviction was stayed within 24 hours. Such things are being provided, but again, you are not required to go too much in that detail. This concept and this argument is something that is only important thing out of this entire article. I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. BRICS is a platform for global south, says Modi. So BRICS stand for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It is a grouping of these 5 countries. Okay, now what has happened post 2019, this is in-person BRICS meeting that is being held. This is in-person BRICS meeting that is being held in South Africa, and Prime Minister has left for South Africa. Now there Xi Jinping is also coming. So what will be the optics of Prime Minister meeting Xi Jinping? Will they be talking or not? And what are the takeaways of the BRICS meeting? That we have to see in tomorrow or the day before, day after tomorrow newspaper. Why? Because today is 23rd and today this BRICS summit will happen. Now Prime Minister, before leaving for BRICS, he had said that BRICS is a platform for Global South. What is Global South? Global South is a grouping of the countries. Global South is a grouping of countries which represents developing countries. Global South is a grouping of developing countries. So Prime Minister says that BRICS is a platform for Global South. Developing countries' concerns, developing countries' interest will be taken up in BRICS. However, important takeaways will come as today the meet will happen. So till then, no need to follow that much. Then main practice question for today. So question says to aim for a $10 trillion economy without protecting India's environment is a goal not worth pursuing. So please use today's ES quotation also and that article that we discussed on Northeast. That is all. This will be 10 marker question. This will be a 10 marker question for GS paper number 3. Okay, so guys, I hope that you have understood this particular session, and guys, I am trying my very best to make this content most fruitful and to make this content to make this session more content based, enriching. And guys, I hope that you are liking our attempt, and I am really thankful for all love that you show on our channel by liking our video, by reading our comment. I read every single of your comment that you are leaving on our platform. Please keep on supporting us. Please keep on commenting on the videos and liking the videos, because by your like and support, your support is the only thing that is keeping this channel alive. So we need your support and your all engage. We need your supports and all your love. Thank you so much. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.